Hello, I'm Mayor Brad Pike. Welcome to the Explore Eagle podcast, where you can learn more about our city of Eagle and our community. Hi everybody, I'm Brad Pike, the mayor for the city of Eagle, and today I have a special guest, Fire Chief Tyler Lewis with me. And Chief, it's good to see you again, as always.
Yeah, Mayor Pike, thanks for having us on and getting to talk about the fire district.
Yeah, which is one of both of our passions. So
Yeah.
looking forward to this conversation with you again. I know it's been over about a year than we talked last, but basically you are one of 10, sometimes 11 taxing districts that the public needs to understand. It's not the city's fire department, it's not the county fire department, it's actually our own fire district. So being that it's one of 10, why don't you talk a little bit about, what finances are involved with this, how you're funded, and then we'll get into some of the staffing models for the stations as we go.
Yeah, absolutely. So, again, love talking about the fire district. So, and that is the fundamental, most important piece, is that we're really trying to educate. We're out there educating constantly of how the city and the fire district work together. We're really in unison on that piece and partners on a lot of things around the community, but we're different. Mm-hmm. We are our own taxing entity, so we're 90% funded by property taxes, and so the nice part about that is that means all of your funds that you pay into that piece are going directly into fire and EMS in the fire district to provide those services. We really that's one of the things we really try to champion, is that when you pay those tax dollars, there's not competing dollars for it. We're really trying to put them into fire and EMS and providing the highest level of service we can in the district. So with that, we are our own fire district. We have 3 elected commissioners, one of which that's your other venue that you get to serve on, I guess. But we have 3 elected commissioners by sub-district in the district that represent the greater community. So with that, there's, we have about 92 square miles that the district covers. So we're quickly approaching that 100 square miles as kind of things have grown. It's really settled down in recent years, but so that's kind of where the fire district is and what we are and how we operate as a taxing entity, and the services that we really focus on is that fire and EMS, and then community outreach in those avenues. So.
Yeah, and as we get into this with the growth, let's talk a little bit about your staffing model and the stations that we currently have and what stations are coming. And a special thing which really great is a collaborative effort with a training center and a shop. We're going to talk about that, but let's get into those things a little bit real quick.
Yeah, so we currently run out of 4 stations, with the 5th being hopefully breaking ground here shortly. We're super excited about that piece. We've got all of our approvals. We're just working through that piece to get a station up and running. That new station is going to be at Colchester and Eagle Road. So a large area that we're kind of underserving that we've identified in that area. All the people are hired. They're going through the academy right now. So now we're just working on getting the building in place, up and running. And so we currently employ 75 firefighters across those stations. One of those stations is in Hidden Springs, so it's a contract for service station, although a majority of its response is back into the Eagle area, into the Eagle Fire District, I guess, outside the city limits, but back into that Dry Creek area. And so it's providing services for those both Hidden Springs and Dry Creek communities, and the Eagle area at large, right? The Foothills area, we get to use those resources along with our mutual aid partners in that area. So that's kind of we run out of those, like I said, 4 stations currently, with that 5th one coming. We're super excited also about another project that we have where we're relocating Station 2 to Beacon Light and 55, just because of district boundaries. The Eagle Fire District used to go all the way to Bogart Lane, which is towards the Glenwood area, for those that aren't familiar with just specific street names, but it used to go that far, and that's been all annexed by the city of Boise, and they've opened Station 13 over there that's servicing that area. So it's time for us to relocate and make sure we're providing the highest level service to as many people as possible in that area. So that's why we're kind of working on that project as well.
Right, and speaking of geographically, we know we have Avamore now within the city limits. We have Valnova up there. We're going to talk about a few things that may be an anomaly to the public, because we have geographic areas, we have developments that are within the city limits, but not all of the city limits are encompassed by Eagle Fire District. We have another entity of Star Fire District. You want to kind of talk about the borders and how that response interacts with mutual aid and things
absolutely.
like that?
And so I get asked by the public on this about 90. I always tell them 95% of Eagle Fire District is within the city limits of Eagle City. There is that other 5%, 5 to 10, somewhere in there that is outside of the Eagle Fire District, but still in the city of Eagle. The majority of that is all in one development, and that development is Villanova. So the first phase of it is in the Star Fire Protection District. The second phases and third phase are all in the Eagle Fire District. So it's kind of a combination up there. We do work closely with our partners though to make sure that we're providing that first response piece for fire and EMS in those areas of development. So although it may be that it's in the Star Fire District, there may be a chance that you get an Eagle Fire engine in those areas. There may be a chance that you get an Eagle Fire or a Star Fire engine in some of the bordering pieces with that are still in the city of Eagle that are in the Eagle Fire District. So it definitely works like a mesh network with our mutual aid partners, the city of Boise, Meridian, all across that piece of how we respond to those areas. But that is one of the developments that's really identified that it is split. There is a portion of that's served by the Star Fire District in the lower portion of that development in the first phases. And then we'll take over the second phases, and it just so happens that that's eventually where our 7th station is planned. We're planned out 5 to 10 year strategic planning piece is that station that will serve that community will be at that Willow Creek and Erie Lane kind of intersection. We've planned that out for future growth as it comes.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit too about the Foothills, because we mentioned that, but we have a robust wildland plan for one, but also let's talk a little bit about the dozer plan, how we interact with BLM, because a lot of the grass fires and we've had as of late this year have been in the Bureau of Land Management area. And talk a little bit about how our first response up into there, how we mitigate the emergency, but then their role in how we interact with them as a mutual partner as well.
Yeah, so we've had a couple of fires that have started this year. Some of them generally off Highway 55. We've had some other ones up in the BLM area. So collaborative effort on that front, right? So the Bureau of Land Management has resources that they send to us when those fires start. We're that initial attack is what they refer to that as. So the initial response to go out there and try to suppress the fire to keep these fires as small as possible and have the least amount of impact to homeowners in those areas. We continue, and so that works the same way with all of our partners, with Boise and Star, that they're sending resources to us to help suppress those, and then vice versa, we send them to them when they're needed. And so it kind of, like I mentioned earlier, it works as a network back and forth that we're helping each other out. One thing though that is unique to Eagle that it is a huge benefit to the fire district to have is it's been about 7 years ago now we started a wildland division and we added a type 6 dozer to that program. It's proved invaluable in the fuel type that we have to be able to go out there and suppress these fires, keep them small, which then gets our resources back to the district quicker. That's the thing is those fires used to take us, hey, you go up there to a small 20-acre fire, you'd be out there all night. And then that means our resources are up there all night. We put a dozer line around it, we get to get those resources back a lot quicker. 4 hours and we're back in service and putting those resources back into the community to respond to all the EMS and other calls that are still continuing to come in while those bigger events are happening. So.
Absolutely. Let's back up one little bit. I want to talk about Bureau of Land Management and their sharing of our Station 2 and how that's collaborative efforts and enhancing our wildland initial attack in that model.
So we partnered with that relocation of Station 2 up to the Beacon Line 55 area. The one piece there is it's not a full BLM. We're not taking the whole BLM and moving them there. I've been asked that by a lot of citizens. They're like, oh my gosh, how are you going to fit all of BLM on there? It's a substation. They call it Wild West. That's the name of their substation. And so it'll be 3 engines and a battalion is what they'll move out there. It's seasonal, so it's usually there from June till September, sometimes 1st of October. And so we'll have those resources when they're not deployed readily available in the district to help suppress fires on all of the Bureau of Land Management and IDL land that we see that's federally and state ran to help suppress those fires quicker and earlier. And then even those that are off their land, we have a mutual aid agreement that they're coming to help with those resources, right. Which is a huge benefit to the district just to have those additional wildland resources in district. And we get to work with them on a daily basis on their subject matter expertise. That's what they do. And we get to put our firefighters with them day in and day out that continue to work and train together to hone our skills on those grass fires and wildland fires
right.
That we see. So.
And that's a huge safety factor too for our firefighters as they're working up the hills, to have that knowledge on weather, topography, fuel loads, things, wind direction, all those kind of things, and the structure component in the urban interface portion of it. But let's kind of integrate how the community can actually get involved. And we do have a couple of mechanisms to get information out to them readily in the event of emergencies. We just implemented that on one of our last fires about a month ago, and talk about a little about the interaction of communication, and then also how the community can help themselves by helping you.
Yeah, absolutely. So two of our biggest projects that we have, Eagle Fire does have a home assessment project that if you live or in anywhere in the urban interface, we'll come out and do home assessments. We'll give you an evaluation that says, hey, here's some of the things that you should address. Maybe you should remove that arborvitae that's right up against the eave of your house if you're in those areas. So we do have that program that comes out and does community education piece on home assessments, and we're always looking for people that if they want us to come out and take a look at their home if they're in those areas. The second one that you mentioned is always early notification, and that's for any incident. We're seeing that across Eagle, that we're really trying to push a campaign of getting people to register for CodeRed. That gives you early notifications of incidents that are going on across the community. If we have directions that we say, hey, this is what we need citizen help with, CodeRed is the first and earliest notification of that. The other one is WIA. It's our wireless notification alert system through dispatch. That you have to be in the zone, and it's coming to your cell phone. Everybody really refers to it as Amber Alert. It's that same type of notification, although it has different parameters of how we use it than an Amber Alert would have. That was our second one. You don't have to register for that. That's a zone thing. If you're in it, you're getting notification piece. It comes at the same time as the CodeRed generally. It just comes with maybe less information. You're getting that alert, and it's cellular. If you're not registered, and if you have an address that's registered, it really helps you be able to get that earliest possible notification of what's going on and what we're trying to work on, and giving direction to the community. And so getting the community to engage and sign up for those things is always the most important piece, and so that we can give out the piece. We're seeing it and using it even in flood situations. So if you live along the river in those areas, we're still asking people sign up for CodeRed. It's going to be our earliest notification that says, hey, there's a problem. There's a bank failure in this portion of the river. You need to maybe not be a go evacuation situation, but you need to be informed and know what's going on in your community.
And I think one of the good tools that you provide, you reach out to the community through HOAs, you're invited out there, you set up some of the fun events for the kids, and you get the information to the parents and everything really well with that. And I think that's one of those things as we network the ability and the interaction you have with EMS and of course our police department, and making we collaborate that effort so they have a whole response package that comes to the need, and they all have their intricate parts that they do in an emergency setting. But as far as the interaction with the community, how can they help themselves basically? And one of the things is the CodeRed, signing up, getting information, but also we have website, you have social media. Kind of talk a little bit about those things.
Yeah, absolutely. We always, for those that are on social media, are really pushing, hey, jump on social media, follow us on there. There's a lot of information, especially when there's incidents going on. Even if you're in the greater area, you want to know when Highway 55 is going to be closed because of Eagle Fire Department, follow us on social media. You're going to get the quickest updates on there to figure out what's going on with some of these corridor road pieces. But it goes further than that. It's on the social media piece, we just really want people to be able to follow everything we have going on, so that we have programs that you nailed it on the head. We're going into the community in a lot of different ways to educate. We want them to be able to engage and be able to sign up for those pieces. Our main focus there is social media and our website that we're putting those out, that people can come there, sign up for a class, request on our website, even a community event. If you have something that you want us to come out to your HOA and we're missing you, if you go on there, you can sign up on our website. We'll come out, put on a specific class for that. We're doing a ton of classes right now that are Know Your Neighbors. That's our #1 campaign right now, is what the public can do for itself is know your neighbors. It's kind of the Idaho way of life. If you don't know the 3 closest people around you, you definitely don't want to learn their name in an emergency. Learn it beforehand. It's one of the #1 ways you can help out the community is know your neighbors. It's a whole campaign that we're pushing out there, and it really helps us so that when we show up and there's something going on, we say, hey, do you know your neighbor, know their name, how many kids they have, know what's going on? That information is invaluable to us if we're actually working on an emergency incident and not trying to scramble to find that piece because nobody knew who they were and nobody knew what was going on. So,
and I appreciate that component of it because it's almost like the neighborhood watch from the police side, but that integration between the two, we're providing about as much information for the community as I think any other agencies or city does. I mean, we're really we're dedicated to making sure that the safety of this community is the tip of the spear, the number one thing we do, and it's relevant and it's obvious between the leadership that you provide for the fire district and the Chief Ruby with the police department, and we appreciate those partnerships because we cannot function as a community without making sure this community, the well-being, the welfare of the community and the safety of it is the number one thing that we stress. And it's evident in the way the professionalism and the responses you guys provide to our community. And I totally appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. And you know that is, we've been friends for a while now. And I really appreciate the fact that you make sure that the needs are being met before the wants are being met. And that's kind of the same philosophy that I have. So is there anything else that you kind of wanted to throw in there as we conclude this?
Absolutely. I mean, I really appreciate the words on that piece. Ultimately, my job is to really support the men and women on the floor that are out there every day responding to calls. And so we do all these things. We talk about social media. We talk about the community events that we're doing. Ultimately, at the end of the day, it's really supporting them to be able to give the tools and resources they can, and then educating the public of, hey, here's what's coming. We employ some of the best firefighters in the industry out there. And so really it's just continuing to support them and having the community pour that support into them. They definitely feel it and continue to spread that piece, especially with everything we have going on in the community, the world today. That pressures of those pieces of that community support that they have behind them. It definitely is felt. And just really appreciate what we're getting back from the city of Eagle as a whole into the district. But really it's about them and what they're doing on a daily basis.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, well, Chief, you're busy, and I know that, but I appreciate you coming out today and giving information to the public on this podcast. Keep up the good work, stay safe, and we'll go from there.
Awesome. Appreciate you having me on.
Thanks. We hope you've enjoyed this episode of Explore Eagle Podcast, and I appreciate the opportunity to serve you as the Mayor of Eagle. If you have any topics you would like us to discuss on the podcast, please email us at pio@cityofeagle.org.